Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today we're going to be going over my medic bag. I'm an EMT, field training officer, so this is kind of something I compiled over the time that with my experience and everything. Something that I thought, some people miss certain things. So it would be nice to go and kind of recap everything of what I got so you guys could compare with other people's. This is just what I use. I'd say it's not medium, or it's not like a large bag or small. It's kind of something in the middle. It could be like a bug out medikit, vehicle medikit, something you just leave around your house, anything like that along the lines. So I'll just go through it and just show you my contents and what I use, and you guys could add these items to yours, or let me know in the comments below what you guys think. What would you use, what you wouldn't use, and if you got any suggestions. So here it is. So it's just a regular medic bag, duffel bag. I'm gonna go through, just go through. So I tagged mine. I have a bunch of these little tags. So color coded them kind of with red, blood, things like that, and I labeled them bleed. So if I'm not using the bag, someone else knows. It's just kind of dummy proof. Cool. So just anything cooling wise, things like that. Blue. Some black ones are kind of like just miscellaneous. So front pouch, we're gonna go through. This is a kind of probably, I'd say 80-90% of most medical things, emergencies, things like that are gonna be probably right here. First thing, gloves. A bunch of gloves, can never go wrong with that. Gotta protect yourself, body fluids, things like that, blood. You never know what kind of diseases people got, things like that. Yeah, some hand sanitizer. Little pouch. A bunch of emergency blankets in this one. Pretty much all of it. A lot of uses for these, shock, anything hypothermic situations, things like that. So, fall in the river, get cold, rainy, who knows, anything water related. If your body temp drops below 95, there you go. Throw on blanket. Yeah, survival situations too, those are good. So if you're going out hiking, get lost, who knows what, with a group, you got a bunch of survival emergency blankets here to get the whole crew, warm. Make sure you guys are not freezing overnight, especially depends what area you're in, what state you're in, wherever you're hiking. Could get really cold. Let's go to the left side of the bag. So over here I got just a tourniquet, rip away. I just went through the plastic. Just make sure you guys know what those are for. A lot of people will just put them, I've seen people put them on, really minor venous, cuts, bloods, things like that. They'll be putting on tourniquets on those. Arterial bleeding. There's contraindications too. I mean, you could get blood clots, if it's on there too long. So, survival situations, if you're using something like this, it's 50-50 honestly with these. You never know, because you could get embolisms through this, and that's a whole different, you're trying to save them and then you get them a pulmonary embolism or something, contradicting. But if you're somewhere in the mountains or city side, you're just trying to get that on to control a bleed, get them to a hospital, there you go. First little pouch, let's check this out. So over here, nothing but a bunch of bandage rolls. You can never have enough bandage rolls. A couple different sizes, a lot of 4x4s, sterile. All these right here, bandage rolls. Never get enough of those, always useful. In there. So I could never have enough bandages. It's kind of my more trauma bleed kit. First off, so anything situation wise, jump up, get your gloves, boom, put pressure on there. Got some C-locks, arterial bleeds, things like that. It's kind of blurry. Let me see if I can fix this. Let's see. Okay. There you go. So stops bleeding, and then C-locks. Throw those guys on. Bunch of 4x4s. So you just slap that on with some C-locks. Wrap it up with your gauze. There you go. Put pressure on it. Keep it from bleeding. Stop it. That's pretty much it on that side. Over here, let's see. This is labeled splints. So I got my triangular bandages, a few of them. Always a good splinting technique over here with these, you know, broken arms, stabilizers. Good for anything. A lot of uses if you know what you're working with. Bunch of little finger splints, you know, and different ace wraps, different sizes. But this equipment, you gotta go through it. Good. The most important thing is you gotta know what you're dealing with. A lot of people probably won't even know how to use these triangle bandages, you know. It's kind of good still to have, I guess, honestly. So if you're, you know, with a group that someone does know, that's a good thing. But you know, you gotta familiarize yourself with your kit. Make sure you know how to use things, the proper way to use them. You know, the contradictions. You know, like the whole, you know, tourniquet. This one, Coban, more triangle bandages, a lot of Coban. Can never go wrong with a lot of Coban and gauze. So that's what kind of both of those sides. I have a lot of that because you're always dealing with blood for the most part, you know, cuts, things like that. Glow stick, you never know if you're working in the night. So I got those kind of scattered. Got two more in the back right here. Ankle support bracelet over here, just in case. That's kind of more long term. Just pretty much all Coban in here. I didn't mention the back. So the back over here, we got trauma shears, cutaway clothing, extra gauze, anything, you know, your bandage rolls, a lot of uses. Shears. More lights, cam lights, just in case you are in the dark, you know, on the side of the road or in the forest or in your house, no power, you know. A lot of uses, you never know. Going back, I couldn't go over the main little front pouch. So over here, it's probably going to be like 80% of the uses over here. We got hot packs, you know, hyperthermic situations or sores. Cold packs, same thing, you know, heat exhaustion, anything like that. Or you need to, you know, there's a broken bone, something, you gotta cool down with inflammation. Cool it down. Keep the inflammation low with the ice on it. Got some antiseptic wash. And over here, I mean, this is most of the stuff you're gonna be using. Band-aids. Little sterile strips, bandages, and your triple antibiotic ointment. That's most of the cuts, bruises, little things like that. More triple antibiotic ointment right here. Most of the stuff you're going to be using with these cold packs. And gauze, if you get into something a little bit more nastier. Over here, this is my main compartment. Kind of looks small, but we're gonna go through everything. Make sure you guys actually see everything. I'm gonna pull everything out. First off, got liquid IV hydration packets. You could fill it, you know, summer, heat exhaustion, same thing concept with the cold packs. Keep the person cool, hydrated. You could use these, Gatorade, some electrolyte mix, you know. So I got some of these. IV start kits, J hooks, anyone who's trained into starting IVs, things like that. More advanced people, you know, that's, you know, not everyone's gonna know how to start an IV out there, who knows where or whatever purpose, you know, but you can always take a class on just IV start kits. It's not that complicated, and you know, you could get fluids in ASAP. And push meds if you could get your hands on meds. More J hooks. Ammonia inhalants, Tylenol, just a couple meds, over the counter stuff. That's aside. I got a whole bottle of alcohol. just 70%. You know, wash your hands, sterile something up, knives, blades, anything like that. If it's not sterile already, you know, you could cleanse some wounds with it. Here's just got one. So, needles, IV start kits. You know, there's all sorts of different gauges. I think 12 to 22 in this one. It's 14, 18. Yeah. You could use these 14 gauge for needle compression. But the needle's not that long. But I mean, if you're dealing with a tension pneumothorax, things like that on the field, they're gonna need some advanced medical treatment besides just, you know, giving a 14 gauge needle through the you know, cavity of the sternum, third intercostal space, and not a lot of people know how to look for it and poke it in the wrong place, things like that. So I mean, your equipment's only good as if you're trained for it. Moving on. More IV start kits. More IV start kits. This is like the Tegaderm, the tape, the rubber band. That is a part of the whole IV kit. Iodine. Bunch of Tegaderms for IV, pretty much. Or you can actually use these as chest wound seals. They're transparent. So you can use these too. They're way cheaper. And yeah, dual purpose. More IV kit. I kind of wanted to mention this. Just some pepper spray. Gotta be ready for any scenario. You know, well, if someone's forcing you to try to work on someone, or you're getting attacked, or someone tries to steal your kit, and you know, at least you know you could kind of wave them off with this guy, if anything. Never know. Just kind of something I threw in there, just who knows kind of thing. Here's a blood pressure cuff, stethoscope in there. You could use this as a tourniquet too. Pump up the cuff and stop the bleed. The whole thing with this 4x4 gauze. Never could go wrong with gauze. And here I got a whole kit. This is my OB kit actually. So anything and everything here to deliver a baby. Has clamps, the surgical knife, bulb syringe, chucks, masks, gown, pretty much everything. I've been trained in using this, so I know how. Been in delivery situations, so I mean, but it's always useful if you want to add this to your kit. I haven't seen a lot of kits use OB kits. Still a lot of good little useful things in here. If you don't know how to use it, maybe someone else will, you know. But since I've been trained, and I could use this for multi-purpose, it's good stuff to keep on hand. Moist wipes, antibacterial, wipe down anything. Never have enough of that too. Got a couple chem lights too. I just put them around everywhere. Who knows? Got Sharpie, notepad. Here's a couple little flushes, saline flushes. These are lure locks. So if you're using it with the IV start kit, flush out the system. People who are familiar with it, it's 0.9 sodium chloride. So that's what these are for. But then, I mean, if you don't need them to flush out a line, you could just use it for irrigation, wound irrigation. You know, something gets in the eye, wash it out, flush it out. Same splint, pretty much. The Zulco company. Pretty much the same splint. So you form it however you want, you know, against an arm, wrap it around. These ain't too bad. Use them out in the field. Yeah, just a splint. You could use cardboard boxes, pretty much anything. Triangle bandages, sticks. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can MacGyver it however you want. This is just more professional, I guess. This is kind of, how do I say it? Kind of overkill, I guess. I got C collars. I got adult collar and a pediatric collar. I'd say this is overkill just because, you know, if you're coming up on people who need these, you know, C-spine precautions, so they're pretty much, they need hospital treatment ASAP for the most part. Yeah, so I'd say it's kind of, I'll just put them out there. It's a little bit overkill just because, you know, that's kind of most likely life-threatening situations, vehicle accidents, things where you need to immobilize their spine because their spine is most likely compromised. So those situations. But if I'm on the side of the road, I've seen vehicle accidents right in front of me, so those are good to have just for those kind of situations, water accidents, things like that. If it's kind of like a SHTF scenario, so I'd say, I mean, probably bypass those, and you know, yeah, there's not really too much you could do in a SHTF scenario with some of this stuff, because they're going to need more advanced medical treatment. Besides just that, you can't fix a, you know, it's just to immobilize someone's neck. That way they don't get no spine injury. Or if it's already, you know, compromised, then there's not much you could do. You got to get MRIs, X-ray scans, everything, just to make sure their back is fine and everything. And that's all in hospital care. So there's nothing much you could do besides that after care. So it's kind of useless in a way. Here's a bloodborne pathogen spill kit, but it has all sorts of cool stuff in here. So it has the gown, shoe covers, you know, so it's like a cleanup kit, but you could use it for other things. So if you're taking ISO precautions, if the I'm not sure if the OB kit has like the gown, and you know, it has the bio bags, so when you're delivering the placenta and dealing with all the blood and wiping things down, you could throw everything in those bio bags, clean it up. And yeah, this is kind of more of a ISO prep precautions. Still, nonetheless, it's good to have contents you could use. Yeah, has some wipes in here, things like that. So if you're dealing with something nasty, you know, you could clean up the area. Bunch of these IV flushes, and I think that is it. A lot of stuff in this little medium-sized kit, I'd say. A lot of trauma-related stuff too. It's good to have. Like, I have an Israeli bandage back here too. So if you're dealing with gunshot wounds, things like that, you could use the tegaderms for your chest seals. These guys, so you can match it up with that. You could take care of the little stuff, the boo-boos, band-aids. Most of the stuff, that's what you're going to deal with, 80%. Splinting, things like that. But this covers a whole array of different scenarios and situations that you could deal with and be in. So it's always good to have a little mix of everything. But always carry the stuff that you know how to use. That would be probably my biggest thing. Train yourself, yeah, because a lot of people, they'll throw in a lot of new packaged things and they've never played with it, they never touched it, they don't know how to use it, and you know, you're only as good as your tools. So all this is your toolkit. I did used to carry oxygen with some masks and things like that, but if you're going, that's just too much stuff. I decided to throw that out of my kit. O2 bottle, because those things go quick. And those people need a lot of help if you're giving them oxygen and things like that. So that's my kit. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, things like that, would appreciate it. It's one of my beginning videos, not much here. I mean, I would add more meds probably. Benadryl, different aspirin. If someone's allergic, some cough syrups, maybe something for the kids Tylenols, things like that. Could never go wrong with that. Maybe a temper eater. I don't have that in here. Besides that, yeah, that's pretty much my kit. Give it